Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Saved, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Okay class, today, as you know, is the graduation exams. And we seem to have 4 new people joining us for it, Iruka announces to his class. As he does, he walks over to the door and opens it, revealing Gaara, Naruto, and Hinata. Naruto had a genjutsu hiding his whisker marks and spiky hair, now it looks like it's flat, and Hinata had a genjutsu hiding her eyes, which look like normal, only now they have pupils. This exam is going to be a little different. You will all fight each other, so that your senseis can see what you can do individually, along with the normal exam. So they were all called up one at a time to do Henjin Bunshin. Pretty much everyone passes this and then they were all ushered outside for the taijutsu matches. Most were uneventful and not worthy of explaining. The last 4 however were rather interesting. Okay, first of the semi-final round, Uzumaki Naruto vs. Uchiha Sasuke. Said people walk to the center of the field and get into a fighting stance, Iruka standing between them, ready. He asks. Yeah, whatever, Sasuke says, looking up at his opponent, who he has never seen before. Ready, Naruto says. His stance has his right hand up at the top of his torso, his left at the bottom, both bent, his left side facing his opponent, his legs slightly bent. Begin, they both hear as Sasuke charges at Naruto, preparing for a left hook punch, only to have it blocked with Naruto right hand. Sasuke throws his right hand out, aiming at enemy's face, which is blocked by Naruto left hand. Then Sasuke is hit with Naruto left leg in the chest, making him fly backwards. Naruto starts some hand seals and as he finishes he inhales and says, Kaiten, Gukukyu no Jutsu. He releases a huge fireball that flies at Sasuke, who has just finished his hand seals. Doing the same attack, they hit each other and after a minute of struggling, Sasuke wins, only to see a huge gush of air coming at him, destroying everything in its path. Sasuke jumps out of the way of the jutsu and gets a punch in the face. Flying into a tree, he hits it and falls unconscious, leave Naruto the winner. Okay, next Mac, Hyuga Hinata vs. Gaara, Iruka says, still entranced by the destruction caused by Naruto, as the medical ninja that were standing by rush over to Sasuke, and Naruto walks to the outside of the field. Gaara and Hinata walk to the center, Hinata in Lee's stance and Gaara just standing there. Are you ready? Iruka says, finally getting over his shock. Gaara and Hinata both nod, then begin. He shouts as he jumps away from them. Don't hold back this time, Hinata, Gaara says, still just standing there, looking at her, waiting for her to make a move. Okay, Hinata responds. She activates her Byakugan, still under the genjutsu. She charges Gaara, throwing 2 punches at different spots. Gaara's sand protects him. Hinata kicks low, with chakra ready to nullify the sand. She hits the sand and it disperses. She then proceeds to sweep out his legs, but Gaara jumps backwards. He feels something crawling up his legs. Was the only thing he said as the vines wrapped around his legs, pinning him to the spot. He sends his sand down to try and pray him off with no effect. He gathers some more sand and sends it towards Hinata. He cashes the last seal she does, and then everything went black, all sound disappeared, all his senses could find nothing. Hinata walks up to Gaara and puts her hand towards his chest. If it were a real battle, she would have chakra in it ready to K her a point from the inside out. As her hand reaches his chest, his body starts to degrade into sand. Hinata jumps back as more sand erupts from the ground, trying to capture her. Gaara is now hiding underneath the ground, controlling his sand to try and ensnare Hinata, guided by his third eye technique. Hinata is dodging frantically, knowing that if she gets caught by the sand, she is and searching around for Gaara. Hinata starts to get caught up in looking around, and Gaara's sand catches her and starts to climb up her legs. As it reaches mid-chest, there is a puff of smoke and his body is replaced with a log. Gaara is once again assaulted by vines. His sand is able to stop most of them this time. As he comes out from the ground, he dodges the vines and then he sees Hinata in front of him, with a palm open and at his chest. You lose, Gaara-kun, Hinata says quietly. No one can hear what she said but Gaara. Good job, I forfeit, Gaara says the last part so everyone can hear him, and then walks back to the outside, making everyone look at him weird. He gets a lot of whys, none of which he answered. Okay. Iruka says, then Hinata is the winner by default. Naruto, would you please come up here? As he is commanded, Naruto walks up to Hinata, smiling widely. Good job, Hinata-chan. I knew you could do it. He shouts, making everyone fully realize they know each other. Okay, you two, this is their final round. Whoever wins is the best fighter of this graduating class. Ready? Iruka says. Again they both nod and Iruka says, begin, and then jumps back to watch the fight. Wanna do just taijutsu or add in some ninjutsu? Naruto asks, obviously not wanting to fight Hinata's ninjutsu. Let's do just taijutsu for now, Hinata responds back, going into her stance, soon followed by Naruto, only right side facing his opponent this time. They both run at each other, throw a right punch which is blocked by the other's punch. Naruto does a side S-kick, Hinata dodges and hits a tenketsu in his leg with one finger, then hits his kick away and brings a punch up to his face, only to be blocked by a hand, and a roundhouse kick, with the same leg she hit away, come around to try and hit her in the back. Hinata ducks under the leg and uses her left leg to sweep out Naruto's other leg. He starts to fall, only top bring his hands down and flip backwards away from Hinata. He lands on the ground and blocks the punch that was thrown, bringing up his leg to kick Hinata on the face. She jumps back only to see Naruto in her face, throwing a punch at her. She blocks the punch but feels another one hit her in the guts. Naruto jumps back a bit and kicks at Hinata, hitting her square in the face. Throwing her back, she lands on the ground, and skids a foot. She just lies there unmoving. Oh my god, Hinata-chan, he yells, running over to her. I'm sorry, Hinata, he says a little quieter, cause Hinata to smile and throw out her hand to his chest. Hey. That's a dirty trick, he says in an angry voice. But it worked, didn't it? Hinata says, giggling at his pouting face. Cheer up, I forfeit. Nani? Why? Naruto asks, looking at her in surprise and curiosity. Because, I can't stand, she says, smiling, causing Naruto's eyes to widen. You win. I did that to you. He asks in a low voice. I'm sorry, Hinata, I didn't mean to. I know, she smiles again. You did what we were supposed to, it's okay. No, it's not, he says, gently pulling up her torso and then hugging her, trying not to break down. Somewhere along the line, Iruka announced Naruto the winner and told everyone to meet back at the academy tomorrow for meeting their senseis, and most of the people left, but none of this was noticed but the two that were hugging in the middle of the field. Really, it is Naruto. When we started the battle, I knew you would win in pure taijutsu, and that I would get hurt in the process. Hinata reassures Naruto, hugging him back, and blushing. The two stayed like that for what felt like years. They heard a person's voice. Hey, lovebirds, and sap out of it. The unusually calm Serena yells. Naruto and Hinata blush even more and they look up at her. We've been given a house, follow me. Serena then turns and starts to walk, not noticing what Naruto did next. Naruto breaks the hug and then, instead of letting Hinata walk, he picks her up bridal style, and runs after the Sanbi. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Hinata says, bringing her arms around his neck to help support her weight. Well, seeing as how I disabled your legs, I thought I could carry you to the house, Naruto responded, starting to smile at her. She gave no further protests and let herself get carried away to the house they had been giving somewhere in Konoha. As they arrived, Serena unlocks and opens the door and then turns around. Oh, that's so cute, she says, final noticing the Naruto was carrying Hinata. Now not only do they hug but he carries her. She randomly goes on about this for ages, walking into the house and running around looking for Zakimarui, leaving Naruto and Hinata alone to walk into the house. You rooms are upstairs, the first two can be either of yours, the rest of us have already decided which rooms we want, the ever stoic Gaara says, standing in the doorway to the living room. He walks back into the room and sits down on the couch. Hinata-chan, let's go pick a rooms, Naruto says, walking over to the stairs, with her still in his hands, and going up them. When they got to the top, Naruto goes to the first door and opens it. The room have a queen-size bed, a closet and a desk already set up. The walls and roof were a light orange, almost unnoticeable. The other room is the exact same, only a lavender color. You can have the orange one, Naruto-kun, I want this one, Hinata says. Naruto is currently in the doorway of the lavender room with Hinata still in his arms. I can walk now, so you can put me down, Naruto-kun. Okay, Naruto said, letting her down but didn't let her go. He hugs her and says, I'm sorry, again. Hinata assures him it's okay again, and then they realize how late it is and go to bed, looking forward to tomorrow, when they will meet their new sensei and go on a few missions maybe. With the two women hunter nin squad. A hail of needles rained down on an unsuspecting ninja, over 50 of them hit him in vital spots, the ninja falls down feeling no pain, after a shout of, Kaiten, Kayu Enden no Jutsu, the body is incarnated in a girl with her Anbu mask and black and white battle combat suit, followed by another person with a wolf Anbu mask jump into the clearing that the previous ninja was in. That the fifth person we've run into so far and we still haven't found a target, Haku says with disappointment in her voice. It's not so easy to track down high-level missing nin as it is to find these Chunin level, Suyako says sighing, when is she going to stop complaining about that? She asks herself, but we're getting closer, I can feel it. I know we are, he was here not too long ago, Haku says looking around, and then jumping off to the west with Suyako following close behind her. The next day with Naruto and Hinata. Hurry, get up. An exuberant voice comes from a house belonging to none other than Serena, you'll be late if you don't get up now. The person yells again. Okay, shut up. And second voice booms, this time being Naruto's, who was in his room changing when she started to yell, walking out of his room, now fully dressed. Naruto walks down the stairs and over to the kitchen to see everyone already sitting there. Wow, you guys get up too early. Not really, when you get a sensei he'll most likely tell you to be up about 2 hours ago, most of us woke up not too long ago, Hachibi stated in his know-it-all stage of the day, continuing to eat his breakfast. Now eat before you have to go without food. Following his advice, Naruto sat down in a chair next to Hinata, who grapes his hand and intertwines her fingers with his, forcing Naruto to eat one-handed, but he offers no complaints, and finds a way to eat his food, after they ate their food. Naruto, Hinata and Gaara walked to the Ninja Academy, with Naruto and Hinata still holding hands. When they got there, Gaara went to the back and sat down in an empty space while Naruto and Hinata looked for the closest place with 2 open spots. They found one at the right middle edge. All of the new genin waited patiently for Iruka to announce the teams, most of which are unimportant. Okay, Team 7 Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Hinata, Uchiha Sasuke, and Gaara. Odd, why is there a team of 4? Iruka said the last part more to himself, but shook it off and continued with the teams. Team 8 Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino and Akamaiki Choji, Team 9 Inazuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, and Haruno Sakura. He said a bunch more, but either Naruto, Hinata or Gaara were listening anymore. Eventually all of the other teams have left, leaving only Naruto, Hinata, Gaara, and Sasuke there. Naruto and Hinata were too busy talking to notice. Gaara didn't really care either way, and Sasuke was starting to get frustrated, even if he wasn't showing it. After about an hour their sensei walks in the door. Yo, Kakashi says with his head sticking in the door. Hello Kakashi, could you try to be more punctual next time? Gaara asks with a hint of frustrations in his voice. Kakashi just smiled back, however someone could tell under that mask, looks like this team might actually pass, they're the first ones who didn't freak out at me too, he thinks. Meet me on the roof in 2 minutes, he says, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Gaara does the same, only in a swirl of sand. Naruto and Hinata follow Gaara's example, disappearing too, leaving only Sasuke to walk up to the roof. My, I didn't think that 3 of them would know how to do that, Kakashi thinks, looking at his 3 students who appeared only a few seconds after him. Naruto now having his arm around Hinata, and Kakashi pulls out a book, as they waited for Sasuke, and then Kakashi says, okay, let's learn more about each other, by telling each other our names, likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams for the future. How about you go first, sensei? Naruto says, looking at him for the first time. Okay, my name is Hitaki Kakashi, my likes are, my dislikes are, my hobbies are, my dream is, he says, not evening him any information. Okay, you next, stoic redhead. My name is Gaara, my likes are training, my dislikes are few, my hobbies are training, and my dream is nothing, Gaara says in AS voice. That's interesting, no dream. Okay, Blondie next, Kakashi says. My name's in Uzumaki Naruto, my likes are training, Hinata, blush, and my old sensei's my dislikes are back and idiots. My hobbies are training with Hinata and my sensei, my dream is to make everyone respect me. Our young love, and a want for respect, and has been betrayed it seems, Kakashi thinks, other brooding next. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, my likes are few, my dislikes are many, my hobbies are training, my goal, no, my ambition is to kill a certain man and revive my clan. Goody goody an Avenger, guess who he wants to K? Kakashi thinks sarcastically. Okay, you girly next. My name is Hyuga Hinata. My likes are training, Naruto, blush, and cinnamon buns. My dislikes are people who are mean to other people with no real reason, and people who judge others by their lures. My hobbies are training with Naruto, and our senseis, and my dreams are to be accepted back to my real family. The genjutsu is still covering up who she is. Our returned love, this will make their lives a lot easier, pretty much same as Naruto. Kakashi thinks again. Well, you are dismissed for today. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock meet at the memorial training field. We'll be doing survival training. Getting no complaints like he expected, Kakashi added. Oh, and don't eat, or you'll throw up. He then disappears, only to reappear next to a man in full black and red hair. Ah, so you found me, did you? I was wondering what the extent of power of an old Anbu captain would be, Hachibi says, not bothering to look at him. Who are you and why are you spying on us? Kakashi says, serious, putting his book back into his pouch. Relaxes Hatake. I am Naruto's, Hinata's, and Gaara's old sensei, Zakimarui. I'm sure you have sense there. Different power, and I'll tell you now, they're all Jinchuriki. Zakimarui says, still not looking at him, in favor of looking at his students, who were all leaving in different directions, except Naruto and Hinata. That would explain a lot of their behavior. How do I know you're telling the truth? Kakashi asks, still not full convinced. You can't, all you can do is trust me, but I'll be following your team around, mostly to make sure nothing happens to my students, Zakimarui says, disappearing, thus ending their little conversation. With Naruto and Hinata. Naruto and Hinata had taken off towards the center of the town, where all of the shops are, thinking that they could at least find something to do in there for the rest of the day, which they were so kindly given off. Whether they think that or not is a different story, so let's not go into it. Hinata-chan, are you hungry? Naruto asks, with his stomach growling a little. Hi, where are you thinking of eating? Hinata asks, looking around at the millions of different dinners, not being able to make up her mind. I don't know, I was hoping you would, Naruto says back, he too not knowing where to go. How about we randomly pick one? Sounds good to me, Naruto says. Hinata then closes her eyes and brings her hand up, moving it around, almost like someone would spin a bottle. She stops on a random place. She then opens her eyes and looks at the dinner she had picked, Ichiraku ramen. Ramen. I used to be obsessed with that, Naruto says, starting to walk over there. After grabbing Hinata's hand, they both walk into the store and sit down side by side. Hey, anyone home? A girl walks out of the back and towards them. Show a little more respect, would you? She says, can I take your order? Can I have 5 chicken, 4 beef and 2 miso ramen please? Naruto says. Sure, and for your lady friend? The girl asks. I'll have 3 miso ramen, Hinata says. The waitress nods and walks away. Naruto and Hinata wait, for what seems like ages for their ramen to arrive. When it does, they both dig in and Naruto somehow finishes first. They pay for their food and walk away, hand in hand. So what should we do now? Naruto questions, trying to think of anything they could do. I have an idea for you too. Hachibi's voice is heard, over the noise of the crowded street. They both look at him, not the least bit surprised of his entrance. Get yourselves some weights and maybe a weapon, so you can train all of the time, and get faster when you take of the weights. It will help a lot in battle, he says, handing them some money and disappearing into the crowded streets again. Okay, that sounds like it could work. You up for it, Hinata-chan? Naruto says, looking over at Hinata. Sure, Naruto-kun, let's go, said person responds. They both walk down to one of the many blacksmiths in town. They get chakra weights, 1 on each limb, that add more weight if you channel chakra into them, starting at 50 pounds each, and they put in a request for 2 swords, 1 each, both the same. They pay for the weights and are told to come back in about a week to get the swords. After that, they both destined to go back to their house and sleep, for it was about 9 p.m. and they had to get up at 6 a.m. When they got to the house, they see that Gaara has already went to sleep and Sanbi is sleeping in Hachibi's arms, who only resonantly got there. You two do what I suggested, Zakimarui says, looking at them as they entered the door. Yaran were going to sleep, Naruto says. Hinata just nods and follows Naruto. Zakimarui watches them leave and sits back on the couch. Good night, Naruto-kun, Hinata says, pulling him into a hug, blushing. Night, Hinata-chan, see you in the morning, Naruto says, hugging her back. They eventually break the hug and walk into their respective rooms for the night. It's time to wake up, Naruto, you're going to be late, Hachibi says outside of said person's door, getting ready to knock it down and forcefully wake him up. Whatever, Kakashi's going to be late anyway, so why bother getting there on time? Naruto says from the inside, dressed and ready to go. So that you can get used to your weight, Hachibi replies, now walking down the stairs, as he is no longer needed. Naruto groans, he had forgotten about the weights, eventually he puts them on again, and then walks down the stairs to see everyone awake, again. They eat and then leave like last time, only this time they go to the training ground specified by their new sensei. As they arrive they see Sasuke already there waiting, a little more impassioned than usual. Everyone sits down and waits for their sensei who's 2 hours late. Yo, Kakashi says, sorry I'm late, I got lost on the road of life. Sasuke's stomach growls, showing he didn't eat, but no one else's did. I take it that all of you didn't eat, right? OS, I knew there was something I forgot, Naruto says, loud enough for everyone. I ate. He laughs nervously. Hinata, Gaara and Naruto take out the chakra in their weights, knowing they'll be fighting soon. Interesting, he knows that was a test yet he acts like he didn't. Kakashi sighs, oh well you'll lose. Okay, from now until noon you have to try and get these bells from me. Pulling out 3 bells he shows his students and then clasps them onto his belt. Oh, and come at me with the intent to K, it's the only way you'll win. This Junin makes his students fight him, and expect him to get bells. This is a trick, Gaara thinks, starting to walk away, unnoticed by Kakashi. We begin now, as he finishes that everyone disappears, but Naruto, Kakashi pulls out a book and starts to read. You know, it would be easier if you caught me off guard. Not like that's going to happen, Naruto says, so let's just start this thing, you and me. He runs at Kakashi, throwing out a fist that was blocked. He brings up his other fist, blocked again. He brings up his leg. Kakashi tries to jump back, only to feel vines entangling his feet. Kakashi says, letting go of Naruto's hands and blocking his kick. He then punches at him only to see sand block it. He feels a kick to the back of his head, and hears the sound of ringing bells. Ha, you Junin aren't all you cracked up to be, Naruto laughs, walking away to where Gaara and Hinata appeared, handing him each a bell. He says, Sasuke, get your ass down here. Sasuke complies and jumps down to where his teammates, and Naruto throws the last bell at him, telling him that the exam was meant for teamwork. Why did the idiot give me his bell? Sasuke thinks, you take it, you got it, you keep it, he says, not wanted help, throwing the bell back at him. Whatever, I'll keep it then, Naruto responds, catching the bell that was thrown at him. He turns around and sees Kakashi getting up from the trap. Impressive, I underestimated you, you all pass, Kakashi says, smiling. They figured out they needed teamwork. Except Sasuke, but the others have enough strength to cover that. He might even realize this sometime. Kakashi picks up his fallen book and walks over to his new team and says, normally that takes a lot longer, so this we can get some mission started today, follow me. He then walks off towards the mission building, with his team following close behind. When they got there, they got the boring mission of catching a cat. When they finished, they got another boring mission, including weeding gardens, walking dogs, and other boring tasks for the next week or so. With Haku and Suyuko. He's near, Haku says, using her tracking skills to try and pinpoint where he is. It's been so long since we started, I'm glad we can soon finally go home again, Suyuko says, almost missing her little home, back of water. Yeah, I'll be happy once I get a shower and some new undercloths, Haku says, starting to walk forwards. I told you we'd be out here for a lot longer than you packed for, but did you listen? Suyuko says in a playful manner. Tenkunai rain down whether to hunt a ninja K them both, or so it seemed. They both disappear in smoke, then assassins jump down and all 3 go back to back so no one could sneak up on them. Where did they go? 3 needles hit them all in the neck, they slump down. Right here, idiot, Haku says in an annoyed manner. She does some hand seals and says, Kaiten, Kayu Enden no Jutsu. The same fire as before flies from her mouth and incinerates their bee. They just get stupider and stupider. With Naruto and such. Naruto, Hinata, Gaara, Sasuke, and Kakashi were standing in the mission office before the Hokage awaiting their next mission, bored lie wanting to do some worthwhile instead of these boring mission, but not wanting to upset the Hokage. For your next mission, you can either walk some dogs, catch the Fire Lord's cat, or, the Hokage said, being interrupted by none other than Gaara. Hokage-sama, don't you think that our skills are being wasted on petty missions like this? Together me, Naruto, and Hinata defeated Kakashi, even if we were underestimated. This statement getting sounds of agreement from his team. Even I agree with Gaara, this is not an ordinary team, Kakashi says with his head still in his book. Very well, the Hokage says with a slight smile, bring him in. The doors opposite them opened, revealing an old man that reeked of sake and was clearly still drinking. This is Tazuna, our expert bridge builder. You will be escorting him back to the land of waves and will protect him as he completes his bridge. I'm supposed to trust my life to a bunch of kids? He asked, clearly mad. After this statement it takes Naruto all of his self-control to not kill Tazuna here and now. Tazuna, I am a Junin and I will protect you with my life, Kakashi says. Seriously, now kids go pack up, we'll be leaving in 2 hours. They all disperses after hearing this. Whathoo. Naruto shouts running around the village towards his house, with Hinata not too far behind him. We finally have a worthwhile mission. They all get to the house and tell the two that we're still at the house, Hachibi and Sanbi, that yet have our out-of-town mission and need to pack. They go to their rooms, pack up their stuff into their bags and walk back down the stairs. Hold on, Hachibi says, stopping the three in their tracks. Give me your stuff for a second. They all look at him with questioning starts, but Zakimaru's deathly cold glare makes them comply. They set their bags down in front of him. Hachibi pulls out multiple scrolls and unrolls them, placing them on Naruto's, Hinata's and Gaara's bags. He does a few hand seals and swipes his hands across the scrolls. All of the stuff disappear into the scrolls, and then Hachibi picks them up and hands each of them their respective scrolls. Cool. Thanks. Naruto says. He grabs the scroll, like his teammates, and puts it into his pocket. He grabs Hinata's hand, causing them both to blush ever so slightly, and starts to walk out the door. How is Sasuke doing? Sarina asks Hachibi. After Naruto, Hinata, and Gaara leave, walking up to him and leaning on him. He's progressing, but he's still obsessed with Itachi, speaking of which he's going to be here after they leave, Zakimaru says, bringing his hand around Sanbi and hugging her. Humans, and their pathetic lives, you should just kill both of them, and get it over with, Sarina says, snuggling into Hachibi's chest. I have to watch over the Jinchurikis, you kill Itachi when he gets here, Hachibi says. Everyone, I call you to me, I must tell you something. Mayoshu's voice is heard over the mental link. Quote, at Konoha's gate. Oh my god, it's symmetrical. Kakashi's not late. Naruto yells. Hinata, Naruto, and Gaara had just arrived at the gate to see Tazuna, Kakashi, and Sasuke already there. But you're almost late, Dobe, Sasuke says coldly, standing up. Where's your stuff, idiots? Our old sensei put it in scrolls for us, Gaara states, not wanting another argument. Let's go before Sasuke get himself K. What? Are you suggesting Naruto could beat me? Sasuke says rudely. He did before, now shut up and let's go, Gaara says, starting to get annoyed. As he said Sasuke shut up and the team started to leave. About 3 hours into their journey they walked by some puddles. Sasuke and Tazuna being the only people who didn't realize they were people hiding there, they all walked forward pretending not to notice. The two puddles started to grow into a human form and then, the two formed humans with a chain attaching them together, charged at Kakashi, wrapping him in the chain and see him, one down, one of them say, charging at the others. Naruto and Hinata turn around, jumping to opposite sides, to face down one of them each. They both run at them preparing for an attack. Gaara's sand grapes onto the chain, with some creeping into the connector jamming it. The two attackers try to separate the chain to dodge but can't, and both get hit in the face. Chain S, they land ungracefully on the ground and flip up to stand on their feet with Naruto and Hinata hot on their tails. Kakashi appears and hits them on the back of the neck. They both slump down unconscious. I was hoping to find out their target, but you three are too good, he says, picking them up. I guess I'll just have to interrogate them then. With the Bijuus. Why have you called us all here, Mayoshu-sama? Hachibi says in a line with the other Biju, of which there are 4, Hachibi, Shichibi, Sanbi, and Nibi. My successor wants to rampage and kill everything in this land, but he dare not, while I am alive, but my time draws to a close. I have a little over 3 years left. I will give some of my power to the Jinchuriki, as much as I can, that they can handle. If you decide to live, answer this question. Do you wish this world to live? The old demon master says. You know my answer, life, Hachibi says, walking over to Sanbi. Is that why you have become more open? I choose life as well, Sanbi says, jumping at Hachibi. I want to see my clan to a natural end, as natural as a cursed clan can have, life, Shichibi says, wanting to get back to what he was doing before, which was curing Kimimaro and training him more. This world isn't all that impressive. I say K it all, there is no savoir for humans, Nibby spits out, growling. I personally agree with you, Nibby, but the majority wishes life. Gobi, I must find her before everything comes to a close. Hachibi, bring her. You will meet her in their mission. Please, I must have all votes. You can assume she says yes. She has found a child in which to live for. Haku and Shia Water Hintonins going after Zabuza. Shichibi says, if you don't mind, I need to leave. Go, my son, make what you have done, right? With that said, Shichibi runs off. The rest of you may go. Now everyone else disappears, leaving just the old man. Why do you persist on running free? You will less soon, old man, and my reign will begin. A voice yells at him from nowhere. Your little creations will not stop me. On the outskirts of Konoha, two figures in black cloaks with red clouds were walking towards Konoha, looking for a way around the guards. Are you sure he's here, Itachi? Says one of the figures, not being able to sense their target. If he isn't, we will gather information and await his return. Kiss him. Do not question me, the now identified Itachi says. The two continue to walk even when a hail of kunai and shuriken comes at them, many hitting them, some in vital spots. The both disappear in puff of smoke. In the trees, Itachi jumps back from a punch that destroys the tree he was at. The new person is wearing a full black robe showing nothing of their attacker. Itachi, I sentenced you to death. The voice could have been either female or male. It was too distorted to make out anything. The person disappears and Itachi's eyes turn red. He looks around to try and find the person. In a millisecond, a sword goes through his neck, decapitating him. The body falls to the ground, staining the grass and trees around him. Kissam's eye go wide, seeing his more powerful ally fall to the person so easily. Who are you? He questioned, looking around for the attacker. After 10 minutes of standing on guard, he falls to his back. What the F was that person? Trying to figure something out, and failing at it, he stands up and walks back to the Akatsuki headquarters, for whatever the leader's punishment would be. With Naruto's group, Kakashi had interrogated the prisoners after they woke up, and then got Tazuna to explain why they were on a BA rank mission that was classified as a C class. He had offered for everyone to leave, but Naruto, Hinata and Gaara were far too intent on doing a worthwhile mission to turn back now, and Sasuke wanted a challenge, so they're now on a boat going towards the island of waves. There are going to be a lot stronger enemies from here on out. Be on guard at all times, Kakashi says in a hushed voice. They arrive at their destination and they all get off the boat and walk away from it, Tazuna in the lead, towards Tazuna's house. Naruto and Hinata were once again holding hands. As they walk by a lake, Naruto, Hinata, and Kakashi hear a sound. Everyone get down. Kakashi shouts, grabbing Tazuna and bring him down. The other follow his ensemble and fall to the ground. Just as a huge blade flies over two of them into a tree, a man appears on the hilt. Kakashi is the first to see him and says, Zabuza, the demon in the mist. He, Sharingan Kakashi, the copycat nin, this could be interesting, Zabuza says, smiling evilly underneath the bandages, jumping off of his sword and doing a hand seal. Fog starts to cover the land. Everyone stay back, protect Tazuna. Kakashi says, walking forwards, I'm the only one who can beat him. Kakashi does a hand seal and some of the fog starts to disperse. Still not being able to see much, he had long since put away his book. He reaches to his headband and pulls it up, relieving the Sharingan. He where to strike. The voice of Zabuza echoes all around them, making it impossible to pinpoint where he is. Where would he strike? Think, Kakashi, think. Said person gasps, Tazuna. He then runs over to the kids trying to stop him. Too late, Kakashi. He appear between the back two and Tazuna ready to s at him. Zabuza pulls his sword down, or tries to. Gaara's sand has it locked firmly in place. Growling in frustration, he back kicks Gaara only to feel sand block his attack. You'll find that impossible, Zabuza. Once my sand has griped something, you will not tear it free. Gaara's cold voice echoes much like Zabuza's. You think Genin will defeat me? Zabuza says, disappearing in a burst of water, only to appear in front of Gaara with his blade already in a downward motion. Vines then wrap around it, slowing it down. The blade still hits Gaara's sand, which stops it completely. Sasuke kick him in the back, only for him to change into water again. Not bad, for genin. Kakashi charges Zabuza, who distractedly let up on the missed jutsu. Zabuza jumps away from Kakashi attack and readies his sword. You're really underestimating me if you think I'll go down that easily, Zabuza says. Kakashi charges at him again. They clash weapons for about 2 minutes before they step back onto the water. Perfect thoughts, vines can't get me here, and that kid will run out of chakra too fast if he comes out here. Kakashi didn't notice this. He still did the chakra trick, but on instinct, he continued swiping at Zabuza, in AS lock, until Zabuza puts more force than necessary onto an attack, pushing Kakashi back, and making him lose his control on the water. Zabuza does some hand seals and says, Suiru no Jutsu, water prison, and captures Kakashi in the water. Ha ha ha, how do you like being caught in my Suiru Jutsu? Kakashi, Zabuza does a one-handed seal and says, Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu, many more Zabuzas form in from of the water. Now watch you, student S. With Haku and Suyako. The two were zipping through the forest and came upon the battle. Kakashi was pushing Zabuza onto the water. That's stupid, Haku says. Doesn't he know Zabuza is a water nin? I don't think he's paying enough attention, dear, Suyako tells her. Watching as Zabuza capture Kakashi and Suiru, she looks over at the genin. Oh dear, Jinchuriki, all other the other three. This brings Haku to look over there. Which are they? Haku asks, seeing 5 people. Not that old man, nor the black hair guy, the other 3 are, Suyako says. Looking over to the shore, she sees Mizu Bunshins rising from the lake. Haku follows her gaze. We have to help them, Haku says, trying to keep her voice low. Not yet, let's see what they're capable of, Suyako says, sensing another demon around. Looks like he was right, you did find the other host, and become a hunter nin, the familiar voice of the Hachibi says. What does he want of me? Suyako asks, grimly facing the new person. We'll talk later, for now let's see what kind of plan you have for Zabuza, he says, disappearing. In the clearing, Naruto. Sasuke says, let's get these damn things. He and Naruto run up for full-on melee. Gaara and Hinata prepare to support them. Naruto and Sasuke s their fists into a clone, having it disappear. They continue like this until they're surrounded by the clones, as Naruto so elegantly put it. Vines creep up the legs of the clones and hold them in place. Sand then rise from the ground and cover all of their bee, with Gaara saying, Sabaku-kyu, desert coffin. After this he says, Sabaku Susu, desert funeral, and Gaara's hand is clenched into a fist, crushing all of the clones. The water from the clones turns all the sand to mud, rendering it useless to Gaara. Needles fly at the real Zabuza. Zabuza is forced to jump out of the way, releasing Kakashi from his prison. Haku appear in front of Zabuza and throws multiple needs at him. Zabuza brings his massive sword and blocks all of them. He then swipes his sword at Haku. Hao jumps over the sword and runs off the lake, with Zabuza close behind. When Haku is off the lake, he turns and holds up 2 needles, blocking Zabuza's attack. Haku is pushed back, then tosses his sword away. Haku attempts to rush him, only for Zabuza to jump back and bring his blade for and upwards at Haku. Haku blocks it with the same needles, which break after. Using her muscles and the force of Zabuza's attack, she is launched up into the sky, pulling out new needles and throwing them at him, only to have them blocked. Zabuza smile, only to see a log appear where Haku was previously. He land on the ground growling, where the hell did she go? Zabuza asks, starching out his senses looking for Haku, only to feel a prick in the back of his neck and then nothing, falling to the ground. So I finally caught up to him, Haku says out loud. She does some seals, lifts up her mask, and says, Kaiten, Karyuenden, fire dragon flame missile, incinerating his body. Pulling her mask down again, she walks over to Kakashi. Thank you for your help, Kakashi. You're welcome, though I don't know who got the most help in that situation, Kakashi says, scratching the back of his head, with his odd smile on his face. Don't you usually hunt in groups? Just then another person jumps down from the trees, the Gobi. Indeed, but this is a 2-woman squad, Suyako says, walking up to them. Ready to go, Haku-chan. The question was never heard by her ears. She was too busy looking at Naruto and Hinata, who were walking towards them. For some reason she found both of them very attractive. Haku-chan. Suyako shouts, startlingly, Haku. Ya, what is it, Oka-san? Haku says s out of her spaced out mood, happy for once that the mask was hiding her blush. Why do you stay for a bit? We have a lot to talk about. Hachibi's voice is heard. Everyone looks over at him, walking up to them. When'd you get here, sensei? Naruto questions, I thought you would be back in Konoha with Serena. There's a lot more to be done than simple pleasure. I have to take care of what master wants. Suyako, let's talk, Hachibi says looking at the second hunter Nin. We talk here, there are only unnecessary ears and thoughts that already know, Suyako says coldly, Ehe wonder where the Akatsuki is now. There is no need to scare everyone with this news, I must talk to you alone, Hachibi says starting to get irritated. I will not leave, I will not go back to him Hachibi go tell your master I will not cooperate, Suyako responds starting to get angry. Let's now destroy this island in a fight, Gobi if you so insist I will tell you, in front of everyone, not fully initiated, starting to leak out K intent, my Aoshusama is S, he has about 2 years. Good he's far overdue, Suyako interrupts Hachibi with a cold tone, she turns around and starts to walk away. Idiot, I'm not finished, the demon that rivals his power will be set loose upon his death, he will infuse what power he can into the Jinchuriki if his demons so choose, and then we will have to fight, or everything that we have gained crumble under his wrath, he has no wish for this world to live. Do not you understand that? Hachibi loses control of his demonic suppression, and reveals 8 tails swaying behind him. Suyako stop in her tracks. What? I choose life, now leave, Suyako says, her voice starting to flutter, her body starting to tremble. Now do you realize why I did not want to say it in front of everyone? Hachibi says, gaining his control back and hiding his tails, Naruto, Hinata, Gaara, and Haku, you are needed in 2 years until then the Biju will watch over you so you do not S on us, I believe you decisions are all life as well. Life? What is life other than an endless struggle for everything? My choice is whatever the other are, Gaara states in AS tone not caring if the world ended. Wait you 3 are Jinchuriki, and you, Sasuke says pointing to Hinata, a Hyuga Hinata heiress to the Hyuga clan. Sasuke finishes completely baffled by this new discovery. Hi we are and I am, Hinata says in a low tone, I choose life sensei, I wish to at least, pay my father back, she says the last part a lot darker than she ever has before. Life for me as well, Naruto says looking at Hinata, then Gaara, and then at his sensei. You know I'll have to tell the Hokage of this, Naruto he was so worried about you, Kakashi says, he dispels the illusion, and I'm sure the Hyuga would like their heiress back. Hardly they have already said, Hinata does not exist and Hanabi is the heiress, Hinata says darkly. Don't be so down life will look up Hinata-san, Haku says staring at her, though her eyes are covered by the mask Hinata can almost feel her gaze, causing her to blush like mad. I want life, and I also say I want to stay with others like me, is that okay Oka-chan? Whatever you want is okay Haku-chan, were Hunter Nin rarely ever are forced to go back to their villages, Suyako says smiling under the mask. But, is it okay with you Ka-chan? Haku says not even caring if the village says no. Anything for you dear, I have no plans anyways, Suyako says, she takes off her mask and throws it away, thoughts masks are so annoying. I agree, Haku says taking off her mask, her hair falls to the middle of her back, all of the people that were looking at her, except Gaara and Sasuke, jaws dropped, Naruto blushed a little and Hinata started blushing a lot. Haku notices the looks and says, like the view. She giggles and blushes from her own comment, everyone immediately looks somewhere else. I'll be going then, have fun, Hachibi chuckles at the scene that unfolded before him, he disappears in a burst of speed that no one could see. Okay so what's going to happen now? Tazuna says walking over to the lake, which everyone is now retreating from, not wanting to waste any more chakra. Me and my team are still on new mission, Haku and Suyako are just tagging along, Kakashi says bringing his book out again and starting to read it. Do you know who could have hired him? If we can K him off maybe we can disguise this as a mission, Haku says walking towards Naruto and Hinata, mostly for a better look. Gatu, was the collective response, surprising Haku, he is a wealthy businessman, but he takes his money from the wave country and hires goons to deal with the rebellions. If I can finish my bridge then we might be able to overthrow him, Tazuna went on explaining. Haku is walking beside Naruto and Hinata, not really paying attention to the answer of her question after she heard the name, she is now more focused on the two beside her. When Tazuna stops his blabbering she decides to start a conversation with them. I suck at conversations, and they talk for the rest of the trip to Tazuna's house, Kakashi reading his book, Gaara just walking same with Sasuke, and Suyako watching them all but mostly Haku. After what seemed like hours to most of them, they arrived at Tazuna's house. The group walks up to the house and Tazuna opens the door. Welcome back, father, Tsunami greets him. Are these the ninja that you've brought to help? Hello everyone. Indeed they are. Everyone, this is my daughter, Tsunami. Come in, Tazuna says, walking into the house and taking off his shoes at the door. They all follow his example and take their shoes off. It's rather late, why don't I show you to your rooms? Tsunami asks. Well, more or less says. They all nod in agreement and they get there. There's only 3 spare rooms. Sagara and Sasuke had 1 room. Hinata, Naruto, and Haku, by their request, got another. And Suyako and Kakashi got the last. Haku-chan, Suyako says from outside of the door, can I speak with you? Hi, I'll be there in a sec, Haku responds. In no time at all, Haku comes out of the house in her pink kimono. What did you want, Oka-chan? Come with me, she says. They walk outside and out of earshot from everyone else. You're not in trouble or anything, but I wanted to ask you something. Oh, okay, Haku says dumbly. What is it? First, what do you think of Naruto and Hinata? Second, why did you want to stay in the first place? Third, how are we going to go about Kage2? Suyako says, overloading Haku's mind for a minute. IIITH think T they are, A attractive, she says, blushing horrible, B because IW wanted T to G get to K no T them, Haku adds, blushing even more, I'm not sure. Both of them. I was wondering for a while, Suyako says, not explaining, we should figure out where he is, don't you think? Why you wear W, wondering W what? Haku asks, still blushing madly. She forgets about the other part of their conversation. Why you looks at hot guys and girls the same way? Do you realize what that means? Suyako smiles deviously and giggling a bit. W what are YUT talking A about? Haku asks, thinking she hid the stares well enough. You think you can hide something like that from me? Suyako says, giggling a little more. You bisexual? She exclaims, making Haku faint from embarrassment. Suyako catches her before she hits the ground and gently lays her down. This is going to be interesting. She continues giggling until Haku starts to wake up. Welcome back to the world of the living, by daughter. Haku faints again, making Suyako full out laugh. Opening her eyes, Haku looks at her mother. Can you stop trying to make me faint, please? She asks, getting a pout from the other girl. But it's fun. She says in a teasing voice. Okay, I'll stop, but we need to plan on how to get Gato. We don't have to do it now if you don't want. You can go back and try to seduce Naruto and Hinata if you want. Suyako says playfully. Haku just blushes, stands up and starts to walk back to the house. No fair. Suyako pouts at her daughter not responding to her anymore. In Naruto's and Hinata's room. Naruto-kun, Hinata says, getting Naruto to look over to Hinata. What do you think about Haku? And what our sensei said? Haku is nice and she kind too, like you, Hinata-chan. Naruto says, I don't think we have to worry about that too much. Not for now anyways, Hinata-chan. Don't get yourself worked up over it, yet. Okay, Naruto-kun, I like Haku-chan too, Hinata says, answering Naruto's unasked question, starting to blush. Why are you blushing, Hinata-chan? Naruto asks, noticing her start to blush. I don't know, said person responds, blushing even more now that attention had been drawn to her. At that moment an extremely red Haku walks in the door. Naruto and Hinata give her questioning looks. It's nothing, J, just something my mother said. Haku stutters out, fumbling her way to one of the beds. Are you sure you're okay, Haku-chan? Hinata asks, walking over to her and putting her hand on her shoulders to try and steady her. This action, however, causes them both to blush. I'm fine, she says. She falls down onto the bed, forgetting Hinata was holding onto her. Hinata is pulled down with her landing on top of her. They both blush madly and faint. What the hell? Naruto says, watching what just happened. He walks over to them and lifts Hinata off of Haku, not wanting them to just repeat what they did before. He sets her down on another of the beds, and then sits on the last of the 3 beds waiting for them to wake up. Haku is the first to wake up. She almost jumps into the roof. What happened? She says after gaining some of her composure back. Well, you came in the door, Hinata helped you to your bed, you let yourself fall, Hinata fell on top of you, and then you both fainted. I moved Hinata so that you wouldn't just do that again. Naruto explains, vaguely, getting a huge blush from both of the girls who are now awake. Gogumen Haku-chan, Hinata says, almost having the urge to poke her fingers together, like she did before. It's okay Hinata-chan, how about we just get some sleep now? We'll need it, Haku says, trying her hardest not to stare at either Hinata or Naruto. That's a good idea, but I don't think you'll be able to sleep for a while, Naruto says, lying down on his bed. Why is that, Naruto-kun? Haku and Hinata say together, then blush. Cause of that, he says. The girls are on either side of Naruto, not helping much for them to sleep, as they both find Naruto attractive, but eventually they fall asleep. The next day, get up, Kakashi says, banging on Naruto's door. Then at Gaara and Sasuke's room, we have work to do. Grumbles and groans and other noises of objection were heard. None of them faced Kakashi though, he just walked downstairs to the breakfast Tsunami had prepared. Hinata-chan, Haku-chan, wake up will ya? Naruto says in his room, trying to wake up the other occupants, but failing miserable. Fine, I'll just leave then, with even that not phasing him, even though he was sure they were faking. He walks out the door, leaving the other two to pretend to be asleep. Quote, hello, to good of you to stop pretending to sleep, Naruto says, oblivious to what happened. Why ya? Haku says, trying not to stutter. Tsunami gets up and brings them some food. They thank her and eat the food. When they're done, Kakashi gets up and says, since Zabuza is we'll rotate shifts on guard duty, while the others train. I'll be first to guard, but I'll start Sasuke on a training exercise, he says, walking out of the door with his students plus Haku following him. He shows Sasuke the water walking technique, for he know how to walk on tree. The others already knew how to do this, so they got to go off and train with Haku and Suyako, with their weights, if you've forgotten. And when Suyako was not helping them train, she was off finding information to bring down Gato. It continued like this for 2 months. The bridge was nearing completion, about 2 weeks left. Haku, Hinata and Naruto continued to get closer, to the point where they could pretty much be considered whatever you would call a relationship between three people that were more than friends. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.